Hey guys, and welcome aboard. I'm Lucy Walker, and today we're going to have a look at making a couple of prong set pendants in sterling silver using cabochons and rose cut stones. So to start with, we're going to make a pendant just like this one here using our gorgeous and somewhat huge chalcedony. Now this is a 25mm stone, but honestly, no drama. The techniques are all the same no matter what size stone you use. And now we're going to place it back onto our copper castles, ready for soldering again. The prongs we're going to solder should be as far away from the copper as possible again. Not only does our copper support things for soldering, but because copper is an excellent conductor of heat, it also helps to protect the previous solder joins from reflowing. So add a little flux, light the torch, and pick up another pallium of hard solder. Now I'm using a pick for this, but you can totally use tweezers if you prefer. Now place your solder again so that it's touching the outside edge of the prong and the base plate. Now I'm placing both pieces of solder before flowing, but again, this is just personal preference. If you want to place it and then flow it one at a time, you can do that, no drama at all. Heck, if you want to, you can even solder the prongs on one at a time if it helps. There's no right or wrong with this. Now, rather than heating everything, as we did previously, we now have to start being very careful and just heat the area around the join. We're guiding the heat here towards the prong until the solder flows. And you can see I'm keeping my flame dancing and moving at all times. This is so important if you don't want a total meltdown. And as soon as you see that solder flow, lift that flame straight out of there. You do not want to reflow that solder from your previously soldered prongs here. Alrighty, quench and give everything a quick check and then pop it into the pickle. And surprise, surprise, once it's on, check it again by placing it onto your graph paper and then add on the next two prongs. Now this part is where I absolutely love to use my calipers, just to make sure things are as perfect as they can be. Seriously, the soldering is actually the easy part here. It's the layout that's the total bitch. But having our prongs clip into place like this really does make life so much easier. And back to soldering on our copper castles. Again, keep the prongs that you're soldering as far away from the copper as you can. And here, if you want to use any extra copper to place next to the prongs that have already been soldered to give them a little bit of extra heat sink protection, you can totally do that here. Now, we're going to solder all our prongs in hard solder. Seriously though, we don't have enough grades of solder to be able to solder all the prongs with different melting temperature solders. It really is about torch control here. And as we add more prongs, full control of our flame becomes even more important. It's imperative to understand what's going on at all times. Where you're focusing the heat is one thing, but always be aware of where you might accidentally be heating to. Watch everything, not just the prong that you're soldering here.